Hello, my darlings. It's Reset coming to you live on Friday for some heart to heart conversation. Today is for you. If you are frustrated, you're unhappy in your relationship, and you're trying to get it figured out. And so today we're talking about the path to clarity. How do you get the clarity you need? And how do you make the path more pleasant, more bearable along the way? So I'll tell you the mistake that I see most of us making is that we're just wanting so much for our partners to be different. And I know I tell you this all the time. It's just we get very focused on what that other person needs to do, what we don't like, what we're trying to get them to change. We're trying to get them to be different. And what's the problem with that? We don't have control over other people and how they're going to choose to show up. And so I know it's hard because we just want them to start to show up differently and be there for us. And I know when I was married to my husband at the time, who struggled with alcoholism and depression, and I just wanted so badly to be able to fix that situation and help him and make things better. And I really learned on a really deep level that I just don't have control over other people. I just didn't have power in that situation, as painful as it was. And maybe your situation's different, but it's the same thing. So when our partners are not showing up in the way that we want them to, they're not making the choices that we think they would make, then we get very frustrated. And when we try and control stuff that's not within our power to control, that's where the suffering comes in. Is where we get so frustrated and maybe even resentful, and it's really not helping the situation. Our partners feel that too. Nobody likes that. Nobody wants to feel like they're being controlled. And so it really just kind of adds fuel to the fire. So take a breath. And I want to tell you a little story about my situation at the time in my marriage. Is just that I was saying that I just wanted so badly to be able to control that situation. And I felt like, God, like if I could just jump into his skin and live his life for him and make his choices for him, I would have. But this is what I learned. Thank God I have my own body and he has his own body, and I had to sort of learn, like, where do I end and where did he begin, and to just start to get some separation between that and really just start to understand, what's my responsibility and what's not. And I'll tell you something, our responsibility, our number one responsibility, is to ourselves, right? And so this is my message for you today, is this is the path to clarity, this is the path to peace. On the way to clarity is that we've got to, what I call, stay in your own lane. This is where our focus needs to be. And again, this is the mistake that we make. It's very easy to get focused on that other person and what we don't like. And that situation totally consumed my life, and I felt like there was like a dark cloud hanging over me all the whole time. It was horrible. And maybe you can relate to that. Maybe you kind of feel like that too. It weighs on us. These challenges, they weigh on us, and it is like a dark cloud hanging over our head. So take a breath. We're going to get a little glimpse of sunshine here today. We're going to get a breath of fresh air, and give you some tools and a little powerful shift in focus today that you can make to start to get on that path to finding the clarity you need and start to feel a little more at peace right now with whatever's going on within yourself. And so what... I know I tell you this all the time, but what I want you to do just for now is to just stop trying to fix everything, change it, make him be different, and just take a step back Take a breath just for now. That's not to say that you should be accepting any kind of unacceptable behavior. That's not to say that there aren't things that would need to change in order for you to want to stay and be happy. But just for now, what I really want to encourage you to do is to get the focus back on yourself. And I know it's not easy because we're sort of not used to that. And even as women, we're sort of trained, conditioned to focus on everyone else, take care of everyone else first. But so maybe this seems a little bit unfamiliar to you. But I really want to encourage you for now, if you can just focus on self-care. Your bottom line go-to question: what do I need to do today to just take care of myself? I really want you to start to see if we can stay in our own lane. And why do I encourage you to focus on self-care? So, like I'm saying, first of all, we've got to, maybe there is no one else showing up for us in our lives, but we've got to show up first for ourselves. We got to fill up our own cup first. And then, you can't give from an empty cup. So we gotta focus first on self-care. It's not a luxury. It's an essential thing, because you can't give what you don't have. And, so that really needs to be our own. And it's our first focus is our own. What do I need to do to take care of myself in this situation? Maybe I don't like this situation, but what do I need to do? This is where our power is choosing how I want to respond. What do I need to do right now to just take care of myself in this situation? Maybe I don't have power to change external circumstances or yet, or maybe I'm trying to figure it out. But just for now, what do I need to do today to just take care of myself physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually? And so what happens when we start to do that? We start to be able to show up a little bit more centered, more calm, with more presence, more resourced from within ourselves. Then, if we can start to show up as the people that we want to be. I show up as the woman I want to be inside this relationship, the partner that I want to be, for me first. But guess what? You're 50% of the equation. And so when we start to show up differently inside our relationship, we have a lot of power to influence that other person and what's going on with the relationship dynamics. We don't have control over them. If we focus on that, that's not where our power is. It just makes things worse, makes everyone more frustrated, more resentful, right? So this is the power of getting the focus back on ourselves and staying in our own lane and focusing just for now, even on our own self-care. We can start to show up differently inside the relationship. Maybe it might involve up-leveling communication skills, getting some coaching support to also, this is a lot of the work that I do with my clients, is just looking at what are our patterns, like our old childhood wounds. We all have our stuff, my darlings. We all have our stuff. I know, like mine was picking up, we have the limiting beliefs and just all our old wounds, like, my sort of core wounding or my core limiting belief that I still am working on unwinding is just that feeling of somehow not feeling like I'm good enough. And I think that we kind of all have that one. Right? And so what happened? That led me into a relationship, and really I feel like I spent my whole life like sort of looking for that validation from other people, looking for that love, looking for that approval. And so, this is an example of how our childhood, we call them sort of wounds, or, these old patterns of relating, our old limiting beliefs, how they affect our relationships and how they might really be undermining them and undermining our own happiness. This really is, I'm talking about our own relationship with ourselves. But, so not feeling good enough, maybe allowing us to settle for a relationship that's ultimately not going to make us happy. Our, just maybe leading us to be accepting unacceptable behavior if we don't feel worthy, or we sort of repeat what our family dynamics were when we were kids too. um, it's patterns kind of repeat themselves. Or this is a really common one too that I had, and I know that a lot of my clients have, is just not being able to speak up. It kind of goes along with that sort of approval seeking, is that I don't want to create conflict, I don't want to rock the boat, so afraid to speak up and ask for what I want or set healthy boundaries. So this is our own inner work, y'all. This is the work that we have to do, that these, unwind these old patterns. And it's okay, wherever you're at, it's okay. It's all opportunity for learning if we use our situation. I learned so much from my relationship from my husband at the time. As painful as it was, that was probably the most painful time in my life, was dealing with all of that. But I'll tell you something, I came out, I just learned so much about myself and what it takes to be in a healthy relationship. I wouldn't be sitting here right now doing the work that I'm doing now with other women if I hadn't been through that experience. So if we're willing to look within and ask ourselves, what can I learn? What can I learn from this? How can I grow? If we're willing to do our own personal growth work, look within. So this is where the clarity comes from. And I'll tell you something else, a mistake that I see a lot of women making is that, we decide to leave. And we think, then if I just maybe find someone better, and, we jump into another relationship thinking that's going to make us happy. But we usually just end up repeating the same patterns, right? Maybe you can relate to that, or someone sort of like different face, different place, same sort of relationship dynamic going on. That's why divorce statistics for repeat marriages are so high. They say about 50% of all first marriages end in divorce, and then it goes up from there. 67% of second marriages, and like 74% of third marriages. And so we gotta do our own inner work, clean up our side of the street. Otherwise, we take ourselves with us where we go. It's happiness is an inside job. And so this is the beauty of the transformational life coaching work that I do with my clients, that I love to do with people, that I've been doing for quite a while now. It's quite powerful and transformational. But for you, my darlings, today, these are all topics for another day, is understanding our patterns, our attachment styles, what our woundings are. But for now, for you, my message is really, would you be willing to get your focus off your partner? It's like we're driving a car. We gotta keep it between the lines, my darling. Just keep it between the lines. So we gotta stay in our own lane, right? You know what I mean? It's like we gotta focus on what we have control over, and that's only ourselves. That's the only thing I have the power to choose, is how I am going to choose to respond in this situation. How am I going to choose how to show up for me right now? Right? What do I need to do today to just take care of myself? So that's always the bottom line go-to question. If you're ever feeling any kind of unpleasant emotion, just ask yourself, all right, what do I need to do right now? What do I need to do right now to take care of myself? Maybe I need to walk out the room. Maybe I need to just get outside and breathe for some fresh air. Go for a walk. Type in and share with us what's one thing you can do today to just take care of you in this situation. I'd love to hear from you. So type in the comments below and share. How can you take care of yourself today? And, any questions, comments, things to share. If this is resonating with you, give this a thumbs up if it was helpful for you. That gives me some feedback as to how I can best support you. But do you like this idea? It's like, would you be willing? We got to stay in our own lane, darling. Because clarity, it's not going to come from out there. It's not going to come from trying to make anybody change or be different. Right? That only adds to frustration and resentment. It's going to come from within. Clarity comes from within ourselves, and it all starts with getting our focus back on our own self-care, just to start with. All right, darling, I love you. Type in any questions, comments. I'll be going back to look for those. Give this a thumbs up if it was helpful for you. I love you. Remember to take good care of you. And I'll see you next time. All right. Mwah. Love ya. Bye for now.